America spent thousands of lives, hundreds of billions of dollars, and months of missiles trying to keep one thing alive: control. Then Israel blew it up with one sentence. Israel's defense minister said the army will not leave southern Lebanon, not even if Washington asks. Most people heard a Lebanon story. It isn't. This is about one dangerous idea. My fear is my border. If Israel can sit on Lebanese land because it fears Hezbollah, then Iran can pressure Hormuz because it fears American ships. Same fear, different map. And America has no clean answer because it helped write the rule. The rule reads, I'm scared of you, so I get to take your land. That's the whole idea. And once it's legal, it doesn't stay on land. It spreads out to the oceans and narrow seas. Let me show you the exact sentence. Here's the trap. In one breath. If Israel can sit on Lebanese land it doesn't trust, then Iran can do the same with the Strait of Hormuz. Same fear, different map. One side calls it security, the other side gets called the aggressor. Lebanon and Hormuz are not the same thing, says the skeptic. Then tell me which one is allowed. If fear lets you take land, why not water? Draw me the line. You can't. Neither can Washington. That's not my argument. It's the hole in theirs. Start with the facts. Last week, the US and Iran signed one piece of paper. Not a peace deal, step 1 out of 50. A ceasefire with homework. And it's already cracking. But the war it paused was real. On the first morning of that war, a strike hit an elementary school in Minab. You know that story. More than 150 people died, most of them children. The missiles were reported as American-made, and human rights groups have raised the obvious war crime question. Then, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, refused to leave Lebanon. Picture what that means, simply. A stranger kicks in your door, locks himself in one of your rooms, and says he's staying because he doesn't trust you. That's the whole argument. His fear becomes stronger than your ownership. That's the security zone. 6 miles into someone else's country. No date to leave. Now, the part that should make you sit up is this. This is not new. Habsburg Austria did it against the Ottomans. It carved a military frontier into Croatia and called it temporary. The Turkish threat faded. The frontier stayed for centuries. That is the rule of buffer zones. They begin as emergencies and grow old as institutions. Remember the word they sold it with: temporary. But that was an emergency, says the skeptic. Right. That's exactly how it always starts. A buffer you control is too useful to ever give back. Security zones don't end when the danger ends. They end when they stop being useful. That day rarely comes. Back to today. So look at Lebanon again. Washington's clever fix has a friendly name: a pilot program. It's a synonym of temporary. So Israel offers to hand back a room, but only if it likes how you behave in your own house. Stop and feel how insane that is. A thief promising to maybe return one room if the owner pleases him. A country that needs its enemy's signature and approval to be free is not really free. Call it what it is: a parole. Out of the jail cell, but only while the guard likes your behavior. One wrong move and the door shuts again. So Israel's just the villain here? May ask the skeptic. No, and that's the trap. Israel's fear is actually real. Hezbollah killed people in the north. That's true. But here is what they are selling you: that a real fear earns the right to sit on someone else's land. It doesn't. Because everyone's fear is real to them. Russia's fear is real. Iran's fear is real. China's fear is real. The moment fear becomes a deed to land, the whole map's up for grabs. So, no, Israel's not the villain. It's the precedent. Now flip it. Same trick, but at sea. Iran's answer is almost lazy in how simple it is. Israel says, we don't trust Lebanon, so we stay. Iran says, okay, We don't trust your Navy, United States, so we stay in Hormuz too. Hormuz is wide on a map, but the shipping corridor is brutally narrow. It's only 2 mile lanes in each direction. With the world's oil squeezed through a sea gate, Iran can pressure. The paper dangled sanctions relief and a 300 billion investment fund. Not charity, leverage. A giant economic carrot to keep the oil gate open. America spent the whole war to keep it open and free. It even insists Iran can't charge at all. Then here's the question Iran gets to ask. If fear lets Israel take a border, why can't fear take a sea lane? Washington has no clean answer because it's the same sentence, word for word. That's the twist. Israel didn't break the deal. It handed Iran the key to turn Hormuz into a toll booth. A toll booth where Iran decides which flags pay and which ones wait. The weapon Israel handed Iran isn't a missile, it's a precedent. And America wrote it first. And it doesn't stop with those two. Once the precept of my fear is my border is a legal move, everyone grabs it. Russia near Ukraine, Turkey in Syria, China around Taiwan. A border isn't a line anymore. It's whatever a stronger neighbor is afraid of, so to speak. And this doesn't stay over there. If you fill a gas tank or live on a pension, a closed strait shows up here in the price of everything that moves by ship. In the world your grandchildren inherit. If Hormuz Angle just clicked for you, subscribe. This channel follows the gate, not the headline. Now, look at how America plays this. Listen to what it tells each side. To Israel behind closed doors, hold the land. Your fear is reason enough. To Iran on camera, relax, your borders are safe. We respect your sovereignty. But both can't be true, and America knows it. If Israel's fear is a deed to land, Iran's safety was never real. One face for the ally, one face for the enemy. Call it a mess if you want, but structurally it functions like a system. One standard for allies, another for adversaries. The Gulf monarchies aren't sentimental. They run insurance math. They see Iran getting recognition, money, and a hand on the oil gate. They see Israel ignoring Washington whenever it likes. Rubio just toured the Gulf states, hat in hand, swearing he would never sell them out. They smiled and asked the only question that actually matters. Is America still the manager here or just the loudest customer? But the deal's holding, says the skeptic. Ships are moving again. Sure, on paper. Nobody signed peace. They signed step 1 out of 50. And it's slipping. Politicians call it a framework. The people who price risk call it war. Europe still bans its airlines from the skies over Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon. They still charge wartime rates just to cross the Gulf. Even Europe is reading the room. It's drawing up a 3-year plan to train Lebanon's army. Translation? Everyone knows Lebanon can't stand on its own. Yet. So 6 players now argue over who really runs the South. That's not a country with a problem. That's 6 foreign parents fighting over custody of one child. And none of them is the child's mother. So where does this gate swing next? History already answered. The zone never leaves. It just stops making the news. Israel's won't expire on Lebanon's schedule. It'll expire when it's useless. And while the big players argue over each other's exceptions, China waits. Empires don't build permanent walls when they feel strong. They build them when they're scared. Now, here's the part nobody says out loud. When America or Israel takes land, the word is security. When Iran, Russia, Turkey, or China does the same thing, it's invasion. Same act, same fear. 2 different words. So ask it straight. Why? The ugly answer is obvious. Somebody believes the rule bends for them and binds everyone else. That their fear is sacred and yours is a threat. That's not a policy. It's a belief that some people sit above the rules. And the second Iran drags that belief into daylight, this stops being about Lebanon at all. So here's where we land. Israel wants a wall on land. Iran wants one at sea. Same fear. Only the word stapled on it changed. Lebanon was never the story. Lebanon is the courtroom. Hormuz is the price. And the rulebook itself is on trial. So tell me below, is Israel defending itself? Or did it just hand Iran the very excuse it needed?